Stand up. Give him your seat. The command sliced through the cabin as first-class passengers turned their heads. Julian Cross, a black man in a tailored suit, looked up to see flight attendant Lena Carter pointing at him, while a smirking white passenger, Colin Mercer, stood waiting to take his place. Gasps rippled. Phones rose. Julian's ticket was ripped from his hands, his dignity trampled under flashing cameras. But what no one on Flight 447 realized was that the man they were humiliating owned their future in one call. Stand up! Give him your seat! The command silenced the cabin. Conversations died mid-sentence. Champagne glasses stilled, and eyes turned toward the aisle. Julian Cross sat motionless, his tailored suit pressed neatly, his boarding pass still tucked into his hand. He had paid for this first-class seat like anyone else. Yet standing before him was flight attendant Lena Carter, her eyes sharp with hostility, and beside her, a grinning white passenger, Colin Mercer. "This seat is reserved for real customers," Lena sneered, her voice loud enough for everyone in first class to hear. "You don't belong here." Julian's jaw tightened. "Scan my ticket," he said evenly. But Lena didn't reach for the scanner. She snatched the slip from his hand and tore it down the middle, pieces fluttering onto his lap. Gasps erupted. Phones tilted upward. Colin chuckled. "Looks like you're in the wrong place, buddy. Economy's back there." Laughter rippled from a few rows behind. The humiliation spread like fire. Julian kept his voice calm. "This is my seat." Lena's lips curled. "Then prove it. Show me your ID. Show me your income. Because people like you," she paused, scanning him from head to toe, "don't pay for seats like this." Phones caught every word. Live stream captions raced across TikTok and Instagram. Flight 447 incident, racial profiling? Julian's belongings were tossed into the aisle. His hand brushed the edge of his briefcase as Lena's heel ground down on his fingers. Pain shot up his arm. The cameras zoomed closer. Security rushed in. "Sir, stand up now." Julian lifted his gaze, his tone unshaken. "I suggest you check your system." But no one listened. A supervisor arrived, shaking his head. "Fraudulent boarding passes. Happens all the time." He motioned to security. "Get him off this flight." Phones streamed as Julian was surrounded. Colin pulled out his phone, broadcasting smug commentary to thousands. "Look at this guy. Thought he could fake his way into first class." The comments rolled in. "Unbelievable. Racist garbage. Don't touch him. Let him speak." Julian finally stood, not in surrender, but in power. He straightened his jacket, his calm presence cutting through the chaos. "Are you sure," he asked the supervisor, "that you want this recorded as your official response?" Confusion flickered. The cameras caught every angle as Julian slid a sleek black business card from his wallet and held it up. The gold lettering gleamed under the cabin lights. Julian Cross, Chief Executive Officer, Meridian Airlines Group. The cabin erupted. Gasps, shouts, zoomed in on the card. Hashtags exploded across social media. Hashtag CEO on board. Hashtag Flight 447 scandal. Colin's smirk collapsed. Lena staggered back. The supervisor stammered. This must be a mistake." Julian tapped his phone. "Patch me through to corporate." His voice stayed measured, but the edge in his tone was unmistakable. Within seconds, a crisp voice filled the cabin over speaker. "Mr. Cross, this is Meridian HQ. What's the issue?" Julian's eyes never left Lena. "I've just been profiled, harassed, and physically assaulted by Skyward Airlines staff. I'd like this documented immediately." The cabin went silent except for the rapid-fire clicking of phones. HQ's voice was firm. "Understood, sir. All passengers and staff should be aware. Mr. Cross is the CEO negotiating the $2.3 billion acquisition of Skyward Airlines. This behavior is unacceptable." Shockwaves ripped through the aisle. First-class passengers gaped. Colin sank into his stolen seat, pale as paper. Lena's lips trembled. Julian's voice cut through the chaos. For the record, this airline has violated FAA regulations, civil rights law, and basic human decency, all on camera. Every penalty available will be applied. The live stream audience surged into the millions. News outlets picked it up within minutes. Hashtags dominated Twitter. Hashtag Julian Cross, hashtag Flight 447. Julian turned to the passengers. You've witnessed arrogance. Now you'll see accountability. Corporate security boarded minutes later. The supervisor and Lena were escorted off under flashing cameras, their protests drowned out by the roar of outrage from both passengers and the online world. Colin tried to slip away, but Julian's steady gaze stopped him cold. Your live stream just became Exhibit A. The flight continued, but the story had already left the runway. By the time Flight 447 landed, every major news network was running the footage. Stock prices for Skyward Airlines plummeted. Shareholders demanded answers. At a press conference the next morning, Julian stood at the podium, flanked by reporters. His tone was calm, deliberate. I will not destroy Skyward Airlines. Instead, we will reform it. From this day forward, all staff will undergo quarterly bias training. Anonymous reporting systems will be established, and $50 million will be invested into a civil rights fund to ensure this never happens again. Not here, not anywhere. Reporters shouted questions. What about the employees involved? Julian's response was unwavering. They will face consequences. But more importantly, this company will face change. This isn't about punishing individuals. It's about dismantling the culture that allowed this to happen. Applause erupted. The reforms were dubbed the Cross Standards, quickly becoming a global model for bias-free air travel. Airlines across the world adopted them. Governments began revising regulations. And Julian? He turned humiliation into a revolution. Months later, the framed business card he had revealed on Flight 447 hung in Meridian's headquarters, inscribed with his words, "Dignity flies first, always." If this story shook you, don't just watch. Like the video, share it so others see the truth, and comment where you're watching from and which moment hit hardest. Then subscribe and hit the notification bell, because together we make arrogance collapse and dignity rise higher than ever.